Welcome to the Abundance Journey, the show that helps spiritual entrepreneurs create an abundance mindset that accelerates revenue. Secretly, everything you experience in your life is actually abundance. Once you understand how to activate abundance, you find yourself in flow with your business and clients, so it's easy to create the revenue you want. The Abundance Journey is the only show that activates abundance for you, so you enjoy rapid results in your business. Here's your host, the Abundance Ambassador, Elaine Starling.
You know, I know you're a lot like me. We love spiritual growth. Well, once I embraced the idea that absolutely everything I experience in my life is designed to help me grow on a spiritual level, I started having the most amazing experiences. I started the Abundance Journey podcast and video show. I started meeting some incredible teachers, guides, prophets. They're all disguised as normal people. Did you know that? Yeah. Every single person you meet is a guide, a prophet, a mentor. And then I was introduced to this incredible guy, Daniel John Hanneman. This guy is one of the most spiritually conscious and aware people I've ever met. Now, let me tell you why I'm so excited and delighted and honored to have Daniel join us for the Abundance Journey today. Daniel John Hanneman has an extensive background as an intuitive business coach. He created an energy scanning, selling, and healing system. Yes. I mean, wrap your head around this. He's got a healing system that you use with your clients to heal them. And basically, they're so delighted to be healed that you're automatically serving and selling at the same time. So it's intuitive, it's effortless, and it's joyous for everybody concerned. I love that. He's also a professional counselor and a certified hypnotherapist, combined business and professional backgrounds in spiritual life coaching, channeling, metaphysics, religious science, hypnosis, psychology, motivational techniques, and personal and business development systems. I mean, you know, what the guy doesn't do is shorter than what he does do. Well, on top of that, Daniel participated in a best-selling book series. He co-authored the book, Wake Up, Live the Life You Love, Living in Abundance, which featured internationally renowned legends Anthony Robbins, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and Dr. Michael Beckwith, among others. Now, just so you get an idea of what a total slouch Daniel is, yeah, I'm being very sarcastic here, he's also the creator and host of two podcasts. Spiritual Rockstar is a top 3% show, as well as the podcast Just Two Conscious Guys Talking. Daniel created Lead the Way Like Jesus and Prosper Your Business programs to guide people into their infinite power, gifts, and love to maximize their impact, sales, and success. Daniel, I am so glad you're here with us today. Welcome.
Hi, Elaine. Well, yes, absolutely one of the best intros of all time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I did claim that I wasn't going to fangirl on you, and I lied. I totally lied. I'm going to fangirl a whole lot because I love what you're about. I love what you're up to. I love your energy. And it was funny, before we started talking, I was saying to Daniel that I feel like I'm kind of the Energizer Bunny, and Daniel is just this calm, poised, centered master who effortlessly moves the energy just by, you know, just with a one little eyebrow twitch. And I'm just like, okay, I'm in awe. All right. I'm totally in awe of what you're all about and what you're doing.
Oh, well, I mean, that's great that you experienced that. I'm grateful that you perceive that in me.
And you know, the beautiful thing is there's room for every single kind of energy. Nobody has to be a cookie cutter of anybody else. We actually get a lot more from having a variety of different energy styles, because then we know what feels comfortable for us and how we like to show up and move the energy. And that's really what it's all about, is effortlessly moving the energy. And you're so adept at sensing energy in people.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a big part of what you do and what you teach, right?
Right. Yeah, totally. I mean, this tuning in thing, started a long time ago. And I just had a sense of connection with energy, with people, and with things. And as a kid, I would try to change traffic lights. I'd be sending energy to the traffic lights to try to make them change. And I always say I wasn't very good at it, but it was me trying to harness this connection I have with the infinite and with energy. And I was very quiet. I was just always listening to people, and I didn't really, talk a whole lot when I was a kid. Very much an introvert, and but yeah, what happened is I just started realizing over many, many years and decades that wow, I am able to really tune in and able to harness that gift. So, but that took a long time for me to really wake up to it and really learn how to really harness. It's one thing to have a gift; it's another thing to really harness it. So
Yeah.
it took a journey.
Knowing how to use your gifts, that's the biggest challenge I think that all of us face. So it's wonderful that you're able to help guide people into a space where they recognize their gifts, they own their gifts, and they use their gifts really effectively in the world. Now, I always like to start my episodes with an intention. An intention is how we want to feel and what we want to create together. And then once we've harnessed this intention that we create along in partnership with the God of your understanding, once we get that foundation, then we go through the questions and have this collaborative conversation and focus our attention on all the things that are lining up with our intention. And that makes miracles happen. And since you're so good at this, Daniel, I am thrilled to do this with you.
Awesome.
Yay. Well, I'm not going to do a big build up because I've done this several times in previous episodes. So hopefully people get the feeling about what an intention is all about and how powerful it is. We are leveraging the power of the quantum field to do this. And on top of that, we're going to hold the intention. So I'm going to say the intention, and then we are going to hold it in complete silence for 78 seconds. And that's the hardest part. Because
Everybody
everybody's
keep
mind.
listening and feel that intention for us, will you? Thank
Oh,
you.
man. Yeah, the challenge is every single one of us has a lot of things going on in our minds, the to-do list and we always think, yeah, but that's such a waste of time. Just holding it 78 seconds, that's so boring. I don't want to do that. But in reality, because you're in partnership with the divine, the current research shows that human beings have a shorter attention span than a goldfish, which I find a little frightening myself. Now, if we've got that much going on upstairs all the time and constantly shifting and constantly changing, the divine doesn't understand what we truly want and what we're really committed to. So by holding that intention for 78 seconds, we're allowing the divine to lock in on that frequency with us. Everything's energy. You're the master of energy. And we're going to be moving some significant energy today. So a couple of tips, because 78 seconds always feels like an eternity to me. So I always try to give people a shortcut. Pick just a couple of words, 2 or 3 words that really resonate for you, that feel like that higher vibration energy that you want to embody, and just focus in on those words over and over again. The other thing to do is notice the movement of energy through your body, because you might feel your hands start to heat up or tingling somewhere in your body. That's a sign that the energy is starting to move. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're explaining to the divine, the God of your understanding, this is where we want to move the energy. This is what we want to create together. And then we're going to start watching it move. Okay, I won't belabor the point. Why don't we go ahead and play with this intention? In love and light, we hold the intention that we connect to our divine power so we authentically share our unique gifts, creating the impact, love, and success that we want in our lives. Thank you, divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. We give thanks, and so it is. Wow, Daniel, that was amazing. I often will feel the energy move a little bit, but this time I felt vibrations like a foot off my body. That was
Oh,
intense. What was
fantastic.
that like for you?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, meditation is kind of my thing. So I'm just like, as long as we want, 78 seconds is not much. Although when I first started meditating, 78 seconds seemed like an eternity. So, so I appreciate the expansion I've experienced through these decades.
Yeah, you've been doing this for quite some time. And you said that you really felt the energy early in your life and you started trying to work with it. And obviously, you become really adept at it. Why are you so passionate about the work that you do with other people to help them own their power and use their gifts?
Yeah. It's because, so many of the people I work with really feel they're not understood. First of all, they're not recognized for who they really are, and they don't feel that there's really a community or people, really that many people that really understand who they are. And so, what I get really passionate about is helping people that were the marginalized people probably in high school or whatever. All the people are a little different, even if they had a lot of friends that I can see who they are. I can see who they are. I can see through all the appearances, even if they were, the most popular person in the class, they may have felt like nobody gets them, right? So I can see right through people and see what's really going on with them and, call them out as who they really are. And, that I'm passionate about it because I felt like nobody saw who I was, right? So it always seems to come off of our own wounds. It's like my own sense was that, you know, I, that I had something this year. I had a gift, but I didn't know what it was exactly, or how to present it, or how to share it with the world. I just knew that there was something there. I used to talk about I've got the power, just like He-Man, and everything. Like I knew there was like this huge energy inside of me, but I didn't know any what that was. So I was very depressed and anxious, and there's nobody there to see who I was. I mean, even the psychiatrist I went to see who said I was like bipolar and had delusions of grandeur and everything because I said I could move objects and blow things up. That's because I didn't even try it yet, but like felt like I could. And you just yeah, I thought it was nuts or whatever. And then the script comes out, right? The Freudian type always say, very interesting. That's what this guy said. I guess he had Freudian training or something. Very interesting. Gives me the script. Well, one of the things he did say that really got my attention because I didn't really hear too many outside of my, parents, like too many positive things about myself that often, from like authority figures. So he says, you've got a lot of charisma. You've got charisma. You definitely have charisma. Now you should use that. You should use that charisma. And that was helpful for me. Like I believe I did start using my charisma more after that. It was like, oh, you see me. I guess I do have charisma. I've locked it away. I haven't even been thinking about that. And so I was able to use that more and making more friends, even just being, more magnetic. And so just not being seen, all those years. And so it led me into psychology and wanting to work with chronically mentally ill people that, again, I felt weren't being seen. My sister got in that category too, of that kind of, matrix of chronically mentally ill idea. And so I wanted to really see people, bring them love, bring them back home to who they really are. And I was able to do that. I was able to continue to just with my natural ability to be so heart-centered and connected, especially when I'm working with people. We're all human, but I'm working with people is to, yeah, on that subtle level, like you said, like you're seeing me in that way, like to help people come back to that real connection with source, with who they really are. And then everything can unfold, beautifully in their life from that kind of space. And then, yeah, then we can step into our power and all those types of things even more and do our things in the world as light leaders and more. But it all starts with that foundation. So I'm just fascinated by why people are the way they are. That's why I went into psychology. Fascinated. Why do we have the lives we have? So that got me into hypnosis and the subconscious and all that. And who are we really? So I got into metaphysics. Well, we're one with the infinite. Okay, that was good to be made aware of, and I sort of always knew that somehow. And all these different ways to come to know who we truly are. And then just, a big part of my journey has been not to judge who I am, because I think a lot of my shutdown was that I had aspects of myself that I wasn't comfortable with, like an edgy part, like a part that is a butt kicker. It's like, come on, let's go. Like for me, for some people, it's just like, oh, thanks. Other people it could be too much. People are sensitive, right? They're like, oh, you're too masculine or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, that's part of me too. You might see me as the yin master, but I'm also can be very strong as well, leading people in business and their lives or whatever it may be, depending on how they may be working with me. But yeah, I mean, I'm just fascinated by who are we really? I mean,
Yeah.
why are we here? All the usual kind of questions, all the big questions.
I love that. And I love what you're doing. And it really takes courage to be willing to step into your power and own your power. It really does. And so I want to commend you for that and commend you for the work that you're doing, because I think it's something that all of us struggle with. We all tend to look on the outside for validation about who we are and what our true skills are. And in reality, once you had somebody say, you're charismatic, you should use that, dude, you're charismatic. All of a sudden you owned it and you said, I am a charismatic guy and I'm going to make friends and I'm going to just allow that energy to flow freely through me. How wonderful when we don't necessarily have to go get that external validation. We can show up the way we want to be in the world and with those characteristics that we want to embody, and then get the validation that, yes, that is what we're doing. As the way we're showing up does illustrate this skill that we want to portray. Yeah, I love what you're doing here, Daniel. It's very powerful and it's really timely. The judgment thing. Oh my gosh. I just got this big ding when you said judgment. Because one of the biggest problems all of us deal with is self-judgment, self-criticism. Mm-hmm. How did you get over that? How do you get through that?
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of devotion to really to love yourself. I mean, you really have to dedicate yourself to getting in the heart space, taking time to take care of yourself. It always comes back to that self-care stuff too. All that's a way of loving yourself, appreciating yourself, and then being kind in your thoughts, around yourself. Because I can be as hard of a critic on myself and others as anybody. I really can't have that in me, that viciousness, very vicious. It's like, I remember in college, like it was there. I remember I had teachers in writing classes says, hey, pull me to the side. Hey, don't be that critical. You're too hard. You're going too hard. I'm like, actually, it could be better. Yeah, it's good to say worked out. So I have that in me. But the nice part of me always wanted to hold it back. See, but it is a superpower. But that's been my dance my whole life. Really, it's an ongoing dance. It's not over. It's like it continues to be a dance. So people will be like, "Oh, he's so loving and supportive," and like my best clients, and then also say, "Man, he could be a pain in the ass. He's let me off the hook," and all that kind of stuff as well. He's irritating as hell at the same time, and.
Well, I think that's a little extreme, but I think you're absolutely right. There's always that push-pull. It's like I get a little bit too fixated on perfection. I want it to be just right before I put it out there. But guess what? It can't be just right until other people collaborate with you to co-create it. And then their part is just right for them, and my part is just right for me. And by coming together, we create something that's even better than either of us could do on our own.
Right.
And yet I hold myself back because it's not perfect.
Right. I mean, if I find that what I need to do is just continue to be comfortable and love every aspect of myself. So when, there are times when I'm a little inconsistent in how I show up. I might, I always say, like, I can be the guy that looks like a 90-pound weakling. Or if you see me in another moment, you might be like, where's all that power come from? How is he so strong? How does he pick that 300-pound guy and push it backwards? How does he do that? How's that even possible? Like, those things have literally happened before. Like, just incredible stress, not like me, like being totally out of my mind, like rage either. Not something like that. Just like all of a sudden I just decide, I'm just like, okay, this is enough. And to show up. So we don't have to show up. Like for me, I don't have to show up in this bigger than life vibe all the time, but it is part of my thing. And so it has had me question myself at times because not everybody's like that. Everybody has got all these like different gears all over the place, to the maybe in the wide range that I have. So I feel really different sometimes, but I'm just like, okay, that's who I am. I'm just, if I can be aware of that, is not right now time to be more gentle and more just a soft touch in a scenario with myself, with others, or it's now a time to be like, let's learn. Let's go.
Well, it's wonderful that you've got so many different tools, right, that help you shift states, because every state of energy has value to it. Sometimes it's leisurely and slow, and sometimes it's very fast paced and high energy, and we get something valuable out of every single state. Now, I do have to ask you another question. I ask everybody the same question, and I've never had the same answer twice. And it's all because we put our own unique way of looking at the world on this term abundance. And given that you're working with energy and you're helping people recognize their gifts and harness their own power and use their energy effectively in the world, how do you define abundance when you're chatting with your clients? What does that look like for you?
Well, for me, it comes down to the basics. So if you are already fully abundant, right? Coming back to the place now, the mind is constantly looking, even my own mind, it's for sure at times like scanning for danger and what isn't there yet. And well, you better take care of these problems, So there's always that's around in our mind until maybe you go through periods of time where you're so connected, you're a meditation retreat, you're on a vacation, you go through a samadhi or whatever. You're like, oh, nothing bothers me. I've been in all those states before. But, when things come up for a reason, all of a sudden the mind is stirred, that there's something stirred inside. And I think a lot of times we judge that. Like, I shouldn't be feeling that. Let me just let all that go, get reconnected and be only abundant and everything. But the opportunity to deepen and expand in your energy comes from those stirs. So the foundation really is abundance. I mean, that you're living as expanded a life as possible right now. But then what happens is like there's more energy available. There's more that you could connect with, and therefore there's more you could enjoy on an energy frequency. But if we're like, well, we judge certain frequencies, then we can't be fully energetically abundant. So when an opportunity comes along that someone says, hey, I didn't appreciate what you did here or there, you could be like, well, screw you. All right, you're wrong, or you can be like, wow, okay, wow, what's going on here? There's something to pay attention here to. And they could even call you names, call you the worst person in the world. Like, oh, wow, okay, what's coming up? Is that something I believe about myself? Perhaps at some level, and where's this coming from? What's this trying to teach me? What's it showing me, right? And that's where we can layer on more and more abundance, and then from that abundant energy, then we can have an abundance of time off. We can have abundance of money. We can have abundance of relationship bliss. We can have abundance of movie nights. We can have an abundance of whatever you want, money. All of it. Like honestly. Everybody is, because of the survival instinct, is like people are really into money, but honestly, it's not the thing that's going to make you the happiest, right? It's absolutely has nothing to do with how happy you'll be. I mean, you could be absolutely destitute and be the happiest person in the world. You really can. You can feel abundance. Is my point. Not just happy, but but also just really abundant. But it's all about being in that connected state. That's why I harp a lot about. Meditation. I've had, clients like they're not meditating, and actually like meditation was a huge key to their business, because I said, listen, until you start meditating, don't expect things to change appreciably in terms of how you feel, or maybe even your business results. It seems like you're not consistent, like you can't get anything going when you're not meditating. But when you're meditating, it seems like you have more momentum, and I see it time and again. So, we really need to get connected to the abundance we are through those type of practices. Meditation is a huge piece, and then things that help to expand your sense of connection with good energy, expanded energy. That's all abundance.
That is wonderful. What a fabulous description. I love that definition. And you hit on several really key points, because one of the key things that was shown to me during my stroke and my conversation with the divine, everything is there to serve you and help you expand in spiritual awareness. That's the whole point. And really it's there for you. It doesn't always necessarily feel great. In fact, whenever I notice I'm feeling resistance about something or I'm a little nervous about something, it's almost like a neon sign with big arrows pointing at it. It's like, pay attention here. This is a growth opportunity, and we really want you to dig under the rock and go through the bushes and find what the blessing is here for you. Find the message, because this is where you can grow the most. And spiritual expansion, spiritual growth is so profound. And for me, I find I get to a certain level and I stay there for a bit, and then all of a sudden the stuff hits the fan and you're thinking, oh no, why can't I just stay there forever? But it's because this is a new growth curve for me, and there's a higher level for me to achieve. And if I don't get shoved off my complacency, frankly, then I won't be willing to explore and accept more. So I don't know if you've ever had that kind of experience, but oh, that happens to me over and over again.
Oh yeah, I've got a good story for you, right? So one of my stories is when I first got out of the field of mental health and all that, like working on that full time, and it started getting online. And I had a private practice still on the side, doing hypnosis and hypnotherapy and counseling and all that at first. But I got online and started showing up doing coaching, because coaching became a thing in the 2000s. So I'm like, oh, this coaching thing sounds cool. Let me get online and do this thing. And I want to be a speaker. I want to speak and all this. And so I started doing it in part online. And I got going on that, one of the things that happened too as I was deepening into my connection with source and the infinite, and with meditation and channeling energies and everything, I started to get really probably really ungrounded, I guess you could say, and very diffuse. Like I would have lots of times when I just felt like, yeah, I could just slip right through this wall right now. Like I would, do things like I get a cut. I like had a cut on my hand one time. I'd be like, everything's so diffuse. I could just flip it back the other way and this way, and the cut would be gone, and then it would be, and like just things that people wouldn't believe. They were like, yeah, right, whatever. And it's kind of been my life too. Like I feel like people don't get like what's there. Like I take it as they don't understand me, but they don't understand themselves, because what I represent is in them as well. Like you don't realize what you're capable of. You think it's just some magic show, some BS, some nonsense. It's not. It's real. And one of my missions is to wake people up to that, because it's part of our evolution. It's part of the evolution. The center is, yes, we're love, we're infinite, we can't be destroyed. We're eternal. Yeah, okay. But in this realm, like to expand, like there is a sense of threat, in the collective sometimes these days, and like they might try to take you over. And well, if you know how powerful you are, that ain't ever going to happen. Like you are the power that be, not the powers out there. So when I was going through this diffuseness, like I was opening up to all these abilities and these capacities we have. And then I had to get grounded. And then when I got grounded, when I integrated that with being grounded and coming from more of that, I guess you could call it the grounded masculine power, man, then my business started to kick in. I started saying, I'm ready to work with people. Come on, I can help you. Now get out your credit card. Let's go. After being more of the person, it's like, you know what? Let me give you a free session. Hey, you know what? You're okay. You'll be fine. Now, do you want to hire me though? And blah, blah, blah. And, I just started to turn everything around, because it's all this, we're like integrating all these threads is how I see it. And I know, like I have students, even past students, that are like, no, it's none of that. And we came from nothing. We are nothing. We should just hang out in the absolute. And that's where it's at. And, I'm happy. I'm more happy than I've ever been in my life. But I know, like for me, like everybody's got their own path. Maybe that's a place where people need to be for a while. You go to the mountaintop, right? People go up there 10, 20 years sometimes, but they almost always come down, right? Eventually. So I say, that's great. That's great. You're in the perfect spot. I don't judge them. I don't say you shouldn't be in that spot. Fine. That's great. They usually have judgments of people like me, but like, which is interesting, right? Why would they judge me, right? But a lot of them do. And it's like, no, I mean, if you think that's the perfect life and you've got it all nailed down, that's great. You can see for yourself if that's true or not. Give it 10 years,
Yeah, so, everywhere. wherever you are is the perfect place for you to be. And I totally know what you're talking about with instantaneous healing. I actually met another guy besides you, who is capable of instantaneous healing. And for a little while, he had a television show, and he would just put his hand over an area on someone's body that was the problem, and they'd be able to walk again. I mean, he healed people of some pretty extreme stuff. And all they'd say is they felt a lot of heat in that area. We can move energy. We have that ability. It's one of the things we're here to do, is to learn how energy works and how we work it. So I really appreciate what you're doing. And I know that you've worked with so many people over the years. You've just encountered so many different folks. There's got to be kind of a common thread, a theme that your clients are experiencing that indicates they need your help. Where do you find that they're most often stuck and they're ready to break through, and they find you because you're that tipping point for them?
Well, these days it's usually they're stuck in their businesses, like they've plateaued, or they just never been able to really get their business going, or they're at a higher level, 6 figures, mid 6 figures, sometimes even 7 figures, and they're just like, you know, been having a good run, I'm rising up, but I don't know how to get to the next level, or I'm so stressed out, everything's too much, and now, I plateaued, or my business is cutting back because like I can't maintain it, I've pulled back. So what I'm able to do is to, really look at where those blocks have been, like what kind of energy you've been working with that's created this sense of stuckness or entropy now, and to see like how it actually, what that energy is really trying to do, because it's like suppressed energy that wants to come out and play and to expand. It wants to expand, it wants to do something that doesn't seem safe to do. Again, we're back to that conversation. And through my gifts and through processes I can take people through, I can help them to do that. And then I've seen it, within even a session or two, often with the energy flips that are possible, like people can just massive abundance in their business can start happening right away. Like also like, wow, it was cut in half, and you helped me bring it right back. And now I'm expanding beyond that. And all that sort of thing happens because we're turning that energy on. And other people, it's every person is different. I don't know, like I tune in, intimately with people, and I just get like, this is the path we need to take for you, whether it's just with that sort of process alone, or if they need more guidance, more coaching, business coaching. I do intuitive business coaching along with doing the energy stuff, on a subtle level, and sometimes formal processes as well. So what is it they need that helps them to really stand in the power of who they are and realize they can get lined up with what they really want in their businesses and also in their lives, and let it rip, let it happen. Because, I'm here for the light leaders, because the light leaders are the ones that are going to be, the big change makers in consciousness, which is the biggest thing on the planet. Like, we need to work with our consciousness. We have got to really continue to wake up. And if we can do that, everything is possible. If we keep just with technology and all these other things, and we don't have the consciousness to support it, we're all going to be in a devolved state, or increasingly, we're all going to be dead.
Well, it's really interesting. If you've read the book Power versus Force by David Hawkins, or his book The Map of Consciousness Explained, he says, when you commit to the level of love, a level of 500 vibration or higher, as soon as you commit to that, the opposite shows up. And I've noticed that there are more and more people who are operating at a higher level of consciousness. I mean, you and I try to hang out with those folks all the time because it's so energizing. It's so expanding. It's so liberating to be in that soup with these other people. And because there are so many more of us who are operating at a higher level, I think we're noticing the conflicts and the limited thinking that is also present at the same time. And that's where we have to be really clear about what is our intention to connect to our infinite power and authentically share our unique gifts. When we do that and we focus our attention on everything that lines up with that intention, yes, there's all the stuff that doesn't work. There's all the stuff that we don't like. That's still there. You don't have to give it any energy. Don't Pay attention to it. The fastest way to spiral down is to start paying attention to things that do not work for you because they don't align with your intention. Makes all the difference. And you said something that I thought was really cool. Energy wants to expand. If you've got an energy block, it's because, and you reminded me of something. I have this really cool thing. It's called a couch bed, and it's this big foldable memory foam thing that can fold it from a couch into a bed and back. And it's really cool. So we got it, and it was in this vacuum packed container. And my husband and I took it up some stairs into the room where we wanted it to be, and we carefully cut open the package, and all of a sudden, it expanded like a lifeboat. And we're like, okay, well, it's never going out of this room because now it's there. And that's what the energy does, right? So you feel like you're stuck, you're at a plateau, there's nothing happening, and then you cut the energy loose and you let it expand. It's not that you force it to expand. You let it expand because it wants to be there. It wants to pull you along effortlessly, joyously. I loved the way you brought that in. That was really powerful, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the key is that's where I would prefer to be ultimately. I would prefer to be expanded, but it's playing in another energy, another level of consciousness, another, let's keep them safe. Let's keep them confused. Let's keep them, scattered. Let's keep them like this because, he's afraid to be himself. So let's go ahead and oblige him with that. And I go through like the energy centers and the chakras and whatnot. We find where it is, be it there or it might show up in a body part or something, but usually it's in those energy centers. And you start tuning into it. Okay, what's going on? Like sometimes I'll do a dialogue with it, and we work it up so that it wants to shift. And I mean, it's a matter of just flipping, the no's into yeses when I say.
Yeah.
So like that's another thing I'm a big advocate of is helping people to be willing to be enrolling because I sure was. And I wouldn't want to ask any girls out. I wouldn't want to do anything. Because after all, I might use my power, and that would be bad. I got to shut my power down because we know that's dangerous because I could be pretty powerful. So better watch out. You don't want to hurt anybody. You want to mess anything up. So don't touch anything. Just sit there. Yeah.
And that doesn't work very well, does it?
That's what people do in their businesses. A lot of the people trying to get started tend to sit there with their courses and everything and like, now how do I do this marketing thing again? Let me take another course. Like, but they're not actually marketing. They're not actually really doing it. Or they try it a couple of times. They're like, nobody responded. It doesn't work. And I was like, okay. I even just heard somebody on a podcast the other day. He's got $30 million he's brought into his business, but he had one big failed launch and he almost was ready to give up, right? It's like, guys, you've got to be completely focused and dedicated to what you've come here to fulfill. And no matter what happens, you just continue to say yes. And there's no way, if you're all in on your intention and what you've come here to do and you keep following through on it, there's no way anything can happen but good things ultimately. Yes, things won't seem like they're working and it's always too late or whatever. It might feel that way. But then it starts to kick in. The things come into you because that energy pops. It's also like, boom, we're there. It's happening. Now the energy momentum turns on, and it's hard to stop it then. And it's a good thing. I think we're almost afraid of like it's going to come out and we won't be able to stop it. You want that because it'll be good and you'll learn how to put on the brakes if you need to. But let the energy flow. Be as amazing as you are, because that's what the world wants. The world wants you to experience it. Humanity wants to experience you as amazing as possible. There'll always be somebody that'll be upset because that's their own stuff, right? So just let them on the way and let's all expand.
I love that, Daniel. And you reminded me of something. I just read a fabulous book. It's called Fans First. Fans First. And it's so good. I just read it through the weekend. And I'm a fast reader, but I read it in just a few hours because it was so good. And the key thing through this book is you must be willing to be a complete fan about what you are doing in the world. You have to love what you're doing in the world. And you're so enthusiastic and so passionate and so dedicated to this intention that you have for yourself and how you are showing up in the world and the difference it makes for others, that you just go all in and you don't care what other people think because you are living the best version of you can imagine. And that is magnetic to people because so many of us feel like, oh no, I have to live in my little box and God forbid I should ever like be unique or different or stand out. People are going to think I'm weird. I mean, I struggled with that for the longest time after my stroke with the divine and having that download and being told, no, you have to share this publicly. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I was kicking and screaming the whole way. As soon as I finally said, okay, what do you want me to do? Everything started to open up. Just that flow that you were talking about. It's like instead of insisting upon staying in the eddies and getting churned and burned and bumped in all the big rocks, you jump out into the current. You're moving a lot faster. And it's just this effortless, joyous flow.
Yes. Yes. Yes, so it is. Amen.
Yes, yeah. But I noticed, Daniel, that whenever I want to experience one of those shifts, like expanded consciousness, expand my spiritual level, something has to change inside. And you described it as a shift in consciousness. What do you notice your clients have to be willing to do? And it's an internal shift. What do they have to be willing to think about themselves or do differently so that they have this different experience in the world?
I'm really going to come back to the same thing I said before, that they can actually be themselves. Now, sometimes they're playing peekaboo with even understanding who they are, like I have. And then I have to just point it out to them. Like that was I just launched a program that you mentioned earlier, Lead the Way Like Jesus and Prosper Your Business. And one of the early modules we did with them is I'm like, all right, who are you? You might think you're this, you might think you're that, but who are you really? And as we dig into that, we find the disclaimed parts of yourself. Like, oh my God, I'm supposed to reveal things and I'm supposed to be like this and like that. And they've been holding it back. They've been like, maybe even if they are being like that, they're judging it. They're like, yeah, but you were mean and you were like this and you were like that. And they're like, you know what? It's like, that's not being yourself either. Like, to be yourself, then to have somebody slap yourself upside the head ain't it. You got to show up as yourself and realize like, this is just who I am. I say like with Jesus isn't sitting there concerned about like, what do people think of me? Oh my God. He just showed up. He's like, I would say like, this is a funny line I like to use is he was talking to the Pharisees or whatever, all these different ones. And he's like, they say, well, what about Abraham? What about Isaac? Who do you think you are? I was there in the beginning. I was there then. I was here now. I'm everywhere. I'm like confidence, he's just decisive, confidence. He's coming from the infinite. He's like, I don't care what you're not going to throw me out my game. You can think whatever you want of me. I was in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, and everything. And it just speaking from that, from the infinite is really what he was doing, in my opinion. And we can be that way too. We need that level of strength and confidence because there's so much fear being thrown at us. You can't do that. You can't be like that. You can't. The hell I can. I could be who I am. And so we need to be more like the infinite. We need to be more like the infinite. And we're embodies, but we are the infinite. We have got to start acting like it. Like what part of your infinite you don't understand is kind of always a good inquiry. Like what don't you understand about that? Like you're infinite, so everything's possible. We're in this sense of limitation in this dimension, but we're really unlimited. And man, come to one of my trainings, come to a retreat or so. I'll show you really quick, like how much BS that stuff is. I took an older, kind of older Jewish woman into a gym one time, and I'm like loaded up weights. I says, okay, push on these weights, like with her legs, one of those leg presses. And then I started pushing on it. All right. And I said, come on, keep on pushing. You're infinite. And she could still push me back with hundreds of pounds on it. because we are just playing a game with ourselves. What kind of game do you want to play? Do you want to play the infinite game? Do you want to experience the unlimitlessness that you are more consistently? Yeah, we all like the idea. Oh, I'm limited. Yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of fun every once in a while, but we aren't. We're totally unlimited. Everything's possible. You want to take your ability to manifest everything, to your performance, whatever you want to call it, all those things at the next level. Start coming from that infinite place. Everything's possible. That's what Jesus showed us.
Yes, it is. And we keep pretending that it's not. Now, Daniel, for those of us who are kind of getting our toes wet in this experience and just starting to learn to walk this path, what would be a baby step that we could take that and what should we be paying attention to as we do this baby step so that we know we're on the right track and we're making progress?
Yeah. I mean, the key really is meditation as a foundation. I think you're going to mention it. We're going to mention it at some point, but I do have this meditate, make money, and 4 ways to meditate and make money. And you can use it in so many different ways. I mean, I feel like money is a master teacher. It's like, okay, who are you really? Like when you're having to struggle with money, like, okay, show me who you are. When you when you show money who you are, money will show up, right? Like, so it's kind of a funny thing. So with that meditate, make money stuff, I mean, even if they didn't get that free gift that we're going to offer, it's like the first thing is just start getting connected, every single day. Start your day with meditation. Just drives me nuts. People are like, no, I can't do it. I'm going to have to do it later morning. You don't understand my situation. I'm like, I understand your situation. You're trying to run around meditation. Do your meditation first thing out of bed as soon as possible. Like, quit messing around.
Well, it's just like the people who resist doing their intention for 78 seconds. This is not a lifetime. Even if you only meditate for 5 minutes, you will find this deep inner peace somewhere that is amazing. And actually, the very next question I have for you is to have you describe your free gift, because I love this. I love this meditation. 4 ways to meditate and make money. Wow, what a great combo.
Yes. So you'll get the meditate, make money meditation. So with the link that is given in the show notes and that you're being given. And you also get, it's just a little PDF thing. It's really simple. I don't like to make things too complicated. It's just a little simple thing, 4 ways to do it. And one of the ways too, on top of just like the pure presence, like some people follow their breath and that, it seems like everybody is doing a little bit of meditation these days. Now it's about a matter of getting people consistent, because that number is way less than how many people actually do a few meditations here and there. It's like, and it's a big difference between I do a meditation a few times a week and I do it every single day or multiple times a day. Like I do at least during the week. I always do multiple per day. So you've got to start meditating, and through the meditate and make money meditation, it's more than just making money, guys. You'll see it really helps to just connect you, and it's encoded with stuff. You'll feel good stuff, right? So the abundance vibration, it gets you connected with clearing up the chakras, getting you connected in each one, and then getting your guidance from your guides for the day. And what wants to happen with money? It puts you into what I call an inquiry process, which for me has been invaluable. I've tried to just forget the inquiry. True meditation is in the being of the nothing. No, don't even entertain all these things I come through. That's going to make you unawakened. And I've heard that one from many meditation teachers. And what I've learned, though, is a practical matter of moving in our life. Like one of my guests I had on my Spiritual Rockstar show, he had interviewed like 100 masters, like the top people, Dalai Lama, all these people. And he says, yeah, some of them might be really enlightened, but they really suck at certain areas of life. Like, so if you want to be really good at different areas of life, like your business and money, you might want to do some inquiry and stuff, like around your relationships, like, hey, what should I do with here in my relationship? And get out of your arrogance, the divine impermanence that you're never going to leave, like, in my opinion. So, okay, I'm a little insulting, a little judgy there, maybe, but I'll love ultimately, right, guys? So anyway, just calling it out. But like, yeah, it really is to just see, like, doing inquiry. That's one of the ways you can meditate. Ask questions, more questions. I do both. I do the silence and the stillness, and then I'll ask the questions. Right, just
beautiful.
that you're going to give?
Beautiful. I can't wait to download my copy because I know how powerful meditation is. And I'm a big believer in guided meditations too. I love them. And I love hypnosis. So, I mean, you're really hitting the sweet spot for me. I can't wait to do that. Now, here at the Abundance Journey, we always like to turn the table on our guests because we know that when we give is when we receive the most. So, Daniel, what can we do to serve you?
Yeah, I mean, I would love for you guys to share this episode. I mean, Elaine's produced an amazing podcast here and show, and I feel like, I mean, she brings out the best of every single guest. And so I'm really grateful for the way she's done that today, really bringing out all these aspects that, like I don't bring out in every interview. I mean, this interview is amazing. I mean, I'm bragging on Elaine more than me. Like, she's the one that's helped to create that. So, share with people, because I believe like there are things in this interview that are going to really support the path ahead for a lot of people. So if there's somebody that comes to mind, like, oh boy, this person I know really could use this right now, to just share this, that would be a great help to me, because I mean, yes, I want people to learn more about me, but what's in this interview is what I want people to know more about.
They need to know more about themselves. And that's what this discussion is really all about. It's not that much about Daniel. It's not that much about Elaine. It's about you, the individual, and what a gift you are, what a treasure you are, how magnificent you are. And the problem is, too often you're too close to yourself to actually see the genius that you are. And that's actually, I got a little bit of a bone to pick with you, Daniel, because I take notes so that I can come up with something to cover, just one thing during the Activated Abundance segment. I got 3 pages of notes from all the things that you said that were so freaking brilliant. I'm going to have to listen to this and watch this episode over and over again because there's so much here. You are brilliant, buddy. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I cannot thank you enough. This has been magical.
Thank you so much, Elaine. It's been a pleasure.
All right, stick around because we're going to activate abundance in just a minute. Hi, it's Elaine Starling, the Abundance Ambassador, and I know since you're listening to this show or watching this show, The Abundance Journey, you really want to experience more abundance in your life. Well, that's why I wrote the book, 5 Steps to Activate Your Abundance. It's available for sale right now from Amazon, from barnesandnoble.com, and many international sellers. And I want you to pick up a copy because I'm really opening the kimono here and sharing all of the information you need to experience abundance in every single aspect of your life. The book's divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is called Meeting the Divine. This is where I share my near-death experience and the conversation I got to have with our higher power during my stroke. In Part 2, Messages from the Divine, I share the best practices that I was given, the secret sauce in how life actually works. And so you understand really why you're here and how you can make the most of your life so you love every single moment. And then in the Part 3 is Partnering with the Divine. That's where I go into each of the 5 steps to activate your abundance and explain exactly why it works so well. So take a moment to pick up a copy. It's available as an ebook, a paperback book, an audiobook, and a video course. So however you like to absorb information, abundance is waiting for you. You can see why I wanted to chat with Daniel John Hanneman. This guy freaking rocks. I mean, wow. So step 1 is always gratitude, right? You don't know the genius that you're about to encounter when you chat with somebody. I mean, yeah, his bio is amazing. He's got this incredible background. He's got this amazing podcast. But then you get to actually connect with a guy, and the energy connection was through the roof. I don't know if you felt that, but man, I sure did. So I am in deep gratitude that I got to have this massive expansion today. The second step is to acknowledge something you heard that was an aha for you. And I absolutely loved it. when Daniel said energy wants to expand. He was talking about blocks and how he works with clients to identify what their blocks are and where things are caught in the energy chakras, and really talking to that part of the body to understand what wants to shift, what changes are desired by the body that then will trigger the mind to support the body with that shift. Why? Because energy wants to expand, and I'm the one holding it back, not anybody else. That's all on me. So that means I have a choice. I love that. So step 2 is acknowledge something you heard that was an aha for you. Step 3 is appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Well, when I know every single block is a coiled bit of energy just ready to explode, to shove me into the fast lane full of joy and love and abundance and prosperity and delight and wonder, I'm not going to freak out about it anymore. Yeah, what a concept. I don't have to be wrapped around the axle about things that feel like resistance to me anymore. All of a sudden, I recognize this is the gold that I've been looking for right here in the resistance. So all I have to do is unpack that, and everything's going to take off exactly the way I want it to. What could be better than this? Yay! Step 4 is to activate it. We've got 3 different ways we can do that. Grab your calendar and schedule time to do it. Doesn't really work in this situation. The second option is to create a physical trigger, like crossing your fingers or tugging on your earlobe before you do something as a reminder. I'm not going to do that one either. I'm going to pick the third one, which is to declare what I'm going to do. So every single day, whenever I feel some resistance, and this does happen because I'm in perpetual growth, I want to grow spiritually all the time. And if I'm determined to grow, that means I'm going to hit blocks, blessings. Some people call them blocks. Now we're going to call them blessings because that's what they truly are. And when I see them as blessings and I start to delve into what is the message in here, what do I need to be saying to myself that's different, that allows this energy chakra to open and allows me to get back in flow, all of a sudden I'm the master of my own energy. Think about that. You are the master of your own energy. And the energy you have access to is infinite, beyond comprehension. Wow. Step 5, celebrate your progress. Isn't this amazing? One simple concept, just one. Energy wants to expand. And look at how much shifted in your body now. Notice how you feel when you think about blocks or limiting beliefs, right? All of a sudden, it's not a limit. It's a flag that the divine's waving, trying to get your attention. Yoo-hoo, gold, riches, right here. Come on over. Ready to serve them up to you hot and fresh. Yeah, that's pretty darn cool. And what an amazing experience to get to meet Daniel and feel that energy. Yeah, he's a really cool guy because he can go high energy, but I've also seen him in this really subtle, incredibly contained, masterful energy. Very limited movement, just this deep internal awareness of where the energy is and where he wants it to go. And then, you know what's so radical about what Daniel does? He lets the energy go where he wants it to go, because energy wants to expand. So all he does is provide the direction for it to go in, and he has instantaneous healing. And he has these big breakthroughs in his business. And he has massive influx in clients and customers and fans. How could it get even better than this? You get to do this too. Yes. This is all about you. This whole episode was actually about you and your brilliance. And we are so delighted that we get to celebrate you. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time for the Abundance Journey.
You've been listening to the Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.